Well, hello, dear friends and colleagues. On this International Day for Biological Diversity, it's my pleasure and honor on behalf of the Consortium of European Taxonomic Facilities, or CETAF, to welcome you to this award event. My name is Leif Schulman and I'm the chair of CETAF's governing board. The E-ScoRe Award was established by CETAF last year, and this is the first ever winner that we are going to publicly announce today. E-ScoRe was established to acknowledge excellence in scientific collections-based research, and in particular to attract young scientists into our field and provide acknowledgement for their work. Natural history collections are archives of nature, and in particular in these times of rapid environmental change caused by human activity all over the globe, it's become more important than ever to have a reference from the past to compare with when we are trying to describe and understand the changes that we are going through currently. At the same time, we have also witnessed an incredible technological advancement in the last decades in molecular methodologies, in imaging, in isotopic methods, and so on, which make it easier and than ever before to extract information from the collections. We can only thank the previous generations for their understanding and wisdom to collect these samples and preserve them for the generations after them, without having had any idea on what kind of methodologies could be used to extract information and understanding from these collections. With these technological developments, the field or different scientific fields that make use of these collections have become extremely interesting, challenging, and attracting for young researchers. But of course, we need to speak for these treasures to make the young generations of researchers aware of the possibilities that these collections offer. And that is one of the central reasons why we decided to establish an award that attracts attention and provides acknowledgement to people who are conducting research based on these collections. So I'm very happy to be able to have this first ever event of award ceremony, although it is slightly different from what we had envisaged in the beginning. But nevertheless, the important things remain. That is having the chance to put attention on the valuable research work that the rising generation of scientists is conducting. So with these words, I want to give the word to our executive, Anna Kasina, who can present the visitors to this event today. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Leif, for these motivating words. Certainly today is a big day for our community, not only because of the International Day for Biodiversity, but also and majorly because of this first edition of the CETAF Award. But our community didn't want to keep it for us, so we wanted to share this celebration with many of our sister organizations with which we are collaborating intensively, and also with all the partners in many different projects in which CETAF participates. And of course, with all the friends and colleagues of this big family of natural science museums, botanic gardens, and research institutions. So we have here 3 colleagues, 3 of those close friends of our community with whom we wanted specifically share this event, and having the honor and the pleasure to have them with us. So let's first welcome Deborah Paul. She works for IDIC Bio. This is a 10 years funded program by the National Science Foundation in the United States for advancing digitization of biological collections. In her role, she has she is ensuring alignment with these kind of initiatives around the world. And she is also tasked with implementing the data use, the data share, the standardization of data, and of course, all the capacity training developments. She is really a very, very well and good supporter of similar initiatives in Europe, as, for instance, as E-ScoRe it is, and she is always a nice contributor to us with her guidance, her interests, her ideas. So welcome, Deborah, to this event. It's a pleasure to have you with us. From the perspective of IDIC Bio, I would like to hear from you, why do you think digitizing of natural science collections is so important today?
Well, first of all, thank you, Anna, very much for that kind introduction and the opportunity to be part of this first ever of this award. It's very exciting. From the perspective of IDIC Bio, I'd say our team recognizes together natural science collections are the library of biodiversity. And of course, we as Homo sapiens, we are stewards of this and part of the biodiversity. It's a critical resource of data and in a sense, very much a critical natural resource. So collections and the people who collect them provide us not only a unique window into the past, but a key part of understanding our natural world and giving us the ability to nurture it and understand it, to make new discoveries for the benefit of everyone in that biodiversity loop. And I have to mention geodiversity too, right? It's the entire planet. So
certainly, we are talking about bio and geodiversity.
Sure.
Collaboration is also one of your pillars in the development of your activity. Do you think that international collaboration at a global scale is an added value for young researchers to be attracted to participate in fundamental research based on natural science collections, in taxonomy?
I think it's critical as we recognize that the world around us is evolving in many ways. One way would be the way in which a library has changed from the subject, title, and author cards of 40 and 50 years ago to new ways of searching for data in ways that we probably didn't ever imagine. And researchers and their way to do research have changed with that. Their ability to understand what's going on in the rest of the world and what other researchers are doing and their ability to access that information. So I would say definitely collections and their uses also are evolving. Biodiversity is borderless. And many of our current challenges for natural sciences require a collaborative and multidisciplinary approach. So these awards highlight the value of collections, but it's the people who do this hard work and enabling them to do that, be recognized for it, and facilitate this collaborative work. We all benefit from it, and we need to do that in order to steward our essential natural resources.
Thanks, Deborah, for your nice words and for highlighting the value of collaborative work in the development of scientific research. Thanks a lot. Our second guest, Christos Arbanetidis, he is the CEO of LifeWatch, one of our sister research infrastructures to E-ScoRe. that is dedicated to monitor and model in the field of biodiversity. Christos is a very well-known person in our community. He has been participating in over 65 projects. He has been leading many of those. He is a very active person as well in the field of publishing research results, and he has more than 120 peer-reviewed articles. He has been even editor of some of the journals where those articles are published. He participates in many scientific advisory boards, many councils. He has been also expert on descriptors biodiversity for the European Union. He has been a member of the pool of experts in the United Nations World Ocean Assessment. So he's really contributing to our community from his background, who is very much focused on the marine biology patterns. But now you, Christos, as CEO of LifeWatch, of the research infrastructure in Europe, one of the main ones in the field of biodiversity, do you think that research infrastructures are key elements to tackle societal challenges that we face today? How we can use those research infrastructures to really influence policymakers in highlighting the need and the importance of natural science collections?
Hi, Anna. Thank you for this kind invitation. I think that most of the research infrastructures in Europe offer either of the two things, open access data or reproducible analytics, which means the web services they provide in order for the scientists to analyze the data they bring or they seek. So they offer a collaborative research environment. In LifeWatch, we call this as a virtual research environment, VREs. And they offer also disruptive technologies. You must have heard about the blockchain technologies applied on data and so on and so forth. So why they do this? Because one of our needs right here is to break the current limits in doing research. And this goes hand in hand with the need of the scientists, especially the young ones, to work within the communities and to break their silos. And I think that we're staying, at a transitional stage right now, where people that used to work in isolation on their desktop computer with their own data generated by themselves, and sometimes, for the young taxonomists, even, by their own means, and by using, proprietary software to do their job, their analysis, towards a virtual research environment in which, they can use fair compliant data, they can use reproducible analytics, so everybody can go in there and can do, exactly the same job they're doing, and working within the communities and consulting, their colleagues and so on. And we call this transition, from brain ethics to brainomics. Now, this is fundamental in promoting initiatives or even small projects cross-domain. And that brings actually evidence-based knowledge, which is coming, from multiple disciplines. And that's very, very important when we want, to convince either policymakers or any other key player at the policymaking or policy implementing level that we do have, or they do have, undeniable evidence-based knowledge.
Yeah, this is certainly a key element that research infrastructures can provide to the third parties in help them to implement policies, certainly. So in that respect, do you think initiatives as the CETAF Award can foster and attract young researchers to participate in research infrastructures and help us and contribute to shape a more excellent and sustainable future?
Yes, I think that CETAF itself has, as a big network, has some of the ingredients of the research infrastructures. And what it offers to young scientists is it opens, their broader scope. It enables them to work in environments which promote multidisciplinary research. And most importantly, I think what CETAF does, and especially to young scientists, is to give them access to resources. And that's very important to change the course of their research.
Thank you, Christos, for your words and for your contributions. Our third guest is Constance Ronaldo. She is one of the founding members of the BHL, the Biodiversity Heritage Library, and she's currently the chair of its governing board. She has not been able to participate directly, but she wanted to still be with us, joining us in this event, and we have her words recorded. So let's hear her.
Hello, I'm Constance Ronaldo, the librarian of the Ernst Mayr Library of the Museum of Comparative Zoology at Harvard University. I'm also the governing board chair and a founding member of the Biodiversity Heritage Library. The Biodiversity Heritage Library improves research methodology by collaboratively making biodiversity literature openly available to the world as part of a global community. The overarching goal of the Biodiversity Heritage Library is to contribute to better science, better collaboration, better data. I thank all the BHL partners and the Secretariat for ensuring this resource continues to grow and keep pace with the biodiversity knowledge graph. Natural history museums' key assets beyond their staff are their collections, the specimens, libraries, and archives. Making sense of these assets includes nurturing taxonomists to help us understand the organisms in the natural world before they disappear. DNA technologies and biodiversity informatics offer new opportunities for early career scientists to contribute to the understanding of biodiversity, and this is an urgent need. Natural history literature and archives contain data that is critical to studying life on Earth and can contribute to the discovery of how the loss and misuse of biodiversity can generate undesirable economic, sociological, and health consequences. The Biodiversity Heritage Library contains rich data sources such as species descriptions, distribution records, connections to specimen collections, climate data, ecosystem data, documentation of changes over time, and historical scientific observations from expeditions. Additionally, the Biodiversity Heritage Library contains personal journals and field notes that are not in the published record yet, but yet they are the treasure troves of previously undiscovered data that can trace a particular scientist's knowledge trajectory. These data sources are plentiful, digital, and waiting to be mined, manipulated, and analyzed using modern tools and technology to reveal unexpected linkages and new perspectives. The E-ScoRe Award is an exceptional opportunity for a young career scientist to take advantage of the reams of data in the literature described earlier and use modern tools to uncover previously hidden connections in the biodiversity realm. These connections are vital to describing, understanding, and protecting life on Earth, thus addressing the biodiversity crisis. And these will contribute to solutions for problems related to this current pandemic, as well as mitigate future health and economic crises. This is exciting and important work. I look forward to hearing the winner of the E-ScoRe Award. Thank you.
Thanks, Constance. We are looking forward to hear as well who is the winner. So we will give now the floor to Gila Kahila, who acted as chair of the evaluation committee that received and evaluate the applications submitted for this award. Gila, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna. And I think I had the honor to be the head of the committee, but I want to thank very much the colleagues in my committee, both Isabella Ray and Lorenz Benshu, for really serious discussion about every candidate in order to choose the one that won this award. I must say that although it's the first time that we're having this award, we had 26 applications, out of which 24 fulfilled all the requirements that were asked. All the application were nominated by members of CETAF Institute, 10 different institutes across Europe. And if we look at the candidates, we can see that there were 16 young researchers and 7 PhD students. That means really the new generation is taking over and conducting research that is associated to collections. The candidates were from diverse nationalities from all over the world: South America, Europe, Israel, Africa, Asia, a lot of places around the world, different museums and institutes. The most important thing is that all the candidates has published peer-reviewed manuscripts that their research is totally associated with national and geological historical collections. And that's the most important thing for us. Both the publications and the application showed us that there is a huge variety of disciplines. Some were only taxonomical, some were taxonomical and systematics. We could see paleontology, research, conservation, biogeography, and all of them also use diverse taxonomic classes. So we could see avian, amphibian, aquatic mollusks, insects, etc., mammals, and plants. So, as I said, the diversity of both the publication and the application among all the candidates indicated the importance of the collection as a fundamental resource for this research. And that's the most important thing, I think, to address. It wasn't easy to come up with the winner, as most of the applications were very good, even excellent. And we had several rounds that we had to minimize to get into the last one, to the winner. And I just want to address 4 last candidates that stayed in the last round and tell you a little bit about the research that you can understand the diversity of research that has been conducted. One candidate, Ming Kai Tang, his research was on the taxonomy and systematics of Southeast Asian insects such as wasps and grasshoppers and locusts. And he used a multidisciplinary approach, both morphological, life history traits, and also behavior data. And he showed the impact of his work resolving some taxonomical problems that they had, but more important, establishing a list of species. And that list of species can be used by stakeholders to conserve the biodiversity in their countries. Second candidate, Silva Pavan, did his work on taxonomical studies of different mammalian species, neotrophical mammalian species, also using multidisciplinary approach, both morphologically and molecular analysis. And he identified some new species that to science, and learning that have a lot of impact on the evolution history, population genetics, and describing the biodiversity of that region. The third project that I will talk to you was conducted by Jean David Crillo Sanchez, and he did paleontological research, understanding the diverse mechanism that underlines the generation of biodiversity in space and in time. And he was trying to understand geological and environmental events using different technologies. The fourth one, not the last one, did a comprehensive study in order to understand the origin and the evolution of the sweet potato and its most relative wild species to that sweet potato, in order to find those reservoirs that hide the genetic diversity of the sweet potato, in order to improve the sweet potatoes for the world. So as you could see from only these four different research that I told you about, it wasn't easy. All of them used and fulfilled the requirements of CETAF. At the end, the committee decided to give the 2020 CETAF E-ScoRe Award to Pablo Rodriguez on his work on the sweet potato. And I would like to say what is the implication or the important impact of his research. Pablo, congratulations. I hope that you can hear us and can join us now and show your face for those that can see on the Zoom. Hi, Pablo. Congratulations. Well, we found three important impacts of Pablo's research that we thought that are very important. One is the impact on collections. Pablo really showed that all of his work was on specimens curated in over 100 herbaria worldwide. And he sampled these specimens and obtained DNA studies on these specimens, which I believe he will tell us a little bit more after that. So that is very important once you have most of the study based on the collection. The other impact of Pablo's study is actually on biodiversity, and describing 63 new species, including wild relatives for the sweet potatoes, which is important for the taxonomy and the evolution of the species. But furthermore, Pablo developed and maintains a website where all the information is gathered there, and it is open not only to researchers, but for the public. And that's how Christos described the open access and how it is important to share this information with everyone these days. And the last thing is the impact of this research for food security and sustainability, and finding the wild type which may be reservoir for genetic diversity can in the future improve the sweet potatoes and let us enjoy this wonderful food. So I just want to say that I think with this award and these application, we can see how natural history collection, both biological and geological, are serving really as a fundamental resource, how multidisciplinary approach are addressing these research. And I really hope that this young generation will increase our collections with new specimens, but also with all those that were collected years ago will make sense for the future. As we can see, the collection CETAF is involved, for example, in the COVID-19, addressing a lot of other events in the world. So I'm happy now to give the stage for Pablo, that he will tell us a little bit about his research.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gila. I hope you can all hear me well. Thank you to you and to the committee for putting my application forward, to the executive committee. Thank you to them for choosing me. I'm really delighted. I'm honored. This makes me very happy, this prize. Yeah, because I've been working on taxonomy and biology conservation biology, natural history collections in the end for a while now. So this feels like a real boost to continue doing it in the years to come. So yeah, again, thank you very much. And thank you also to the people in the chat that are congratulating me. Much appreciated. And thank you also finally to Mark Karin, who supported my application. He's the curator from NHM. And obviously to my colleagues who I will be mentioning later. So just very briefly, I thought I could talk a bit about my relationship with natural history collections. And I just put together a few pictures that I hope you can see. Can you see them? Yeah. Good. Yeah, so basically I want to very briefly explain what I've done with natural history collections during my still young career. So I am a biologist, a botanist. I started training already during my undergrad at the Autonomous University of Madrid with Jose Maria. And we were working on the taxonomy of this tropical genus, Acalypha, widespread all around the tropics and subtropics of the world, poorly known, understudied, and in much need of review. So the first thing I did, I started to train as a taxonomist and spent a few years working on purely morphology-based studies of this genus. We studied thousands of specimens and produced a number of taxonomic reviews for South American continents. This I carried on after my undergrad, and I'm still participating in this project. But after my undergrad, I was never paid for this. But after my undergrad, it became like a hobby more than a job. So in parallel to this, I was working in other projects more to do with floristic works and conservation biology. For example, I first worked for the Iberian Flora Project and their online platform, Anthos, basically aiming to make as much information for the Iberian flora available online as possible. I also spent a couple of years working on the Spanish node of GBIF. I'm Spanish, I was there. On the Spanish node of GBIF, helping people to make their data available, to provide good quality data, and also teaching a few workshops on exactly how to curate data and how to publish data to make them available through the GBIF platform or elsewhere to as many people as possible. And perhaps the most important project on those years was my participation with a group of biologists in the global strategy for plant conservation in Spain. We received the task of achieving objectives 1, 2, and 7 of this GSPC, which basically meant we needed to produce within 2 years a full comprehensive list of plant species in Spain, give IUCN threat categories to all of them, and identify the hotspots of plant diversity in Spain. All this work was based on natural history collections and on biodiversity databases. So yeah, we managed to complete this within 2 years. As I said, I believe Spain was one of the first countries to get the objectives achieved. So yeah, I think this talks about the importance of, or about how many different things we can do with natural history collections, right? So in 2014, I moved to Oxford. I took a PhD position there with the supervision of Robert Scotland, professor of systematic botany. And I moved there to work on the origin and evolution of the sweet potato. I was working on that. I've been working on that since then. I finished my PhD in 2018. And I am a postdoc now in a 3-year project again. So basically in our project, we wanted to investigate, as Gila said before, the origin and evolution of the sweet potato. Sweet potato is a really important crop, one of the most widely consumed, but also is the less well-known crop among all the major ones. So we wanted to understand, to investigate the relationships between the sweet potato and its crop wild relatives, and their role in the origin of the sweet potato. And understanding this relationship is very important because these wild relatives, wild species closely related to the crop, have the potential to contribute genetic diversity into the crop through breeding programs. So understanding what is the relationship between them is a necessary previous step, previous to any breeding effort. Along the way, during our project, we described 2 new species of this group of sweet potato wild relatives, which increases the number of, or the amount of genetic diversity available for sweet potato breeding. And we also got the opportunity to address this question, the early dispersal of the sweet potato across the Pacific for 200 years. People have been wondering how it arrived. This is a crop of American origin. People have been wondering how it arrived in Polynesia before Europeans. So we were allowed to get DNA from this specimen here. It is a 250-year-old specimen collected in the Society Islands by Banks and Solander. And by including that specimen in our studies, we strongly suggested that sweet potato arrived in the Pacific by long-distance dispersal, as opposed to the dominant theory that it was taken by pre-European humans. In any case, results aside, well, maybe because of the results, but this paper where we published this got really world attention. It was shared everywhere. It brought us a lot of attention, and I think it highlights how much herbarium, in this case herbarium collections, can contribute to studies of any kind. This goes beyond taxonomy. This is evolution. This is human movements. So I think Deborah said before, approaches we can't even think of now will become available in the future. So that's the work we did. But the work we did on sweet potato is not isolated. It's part of a much bigger effort led by Robert and by John Booth, who is a taxonomist in Oxford, to monograph the morning glories. So the morning glories are the genus Ipomia, the group of plants to which sweet potato belong. It's again mega diverse, widely distributed worldwide. And before this study, literature accumulated as much error as useful information. So a whole review was necessary. So Robert and John were brave enough to address this. I got on board that. So in 6 years, we managed to produce a monograph of the whole genus in the Americas, in the American continent, which is the first monograph of the genus in the continent today, basically. It is an 800 pages work with a lot of information, we hope useful, that we think will constitute the basis for subsequent studies of any kind on this genus, in America at least. And if we were able to do this, to complete this study, was because we use what we are been calling foundation monograph approach. So we think that we can produce good quality monographs of any group of organisms, but this is ideally groups of tropical plants that are less well known, that plants from temperate regions. We think we can do it in a short time frame by putting together disciplines that are often treated as independent. So taxonomy is often considered a morphology-based discipline. Evolution is molecularly or time-calibrated phylogeny, all of that. Evolution is often based on molecules these days. Ecology, a bit more of the same. So by bringing them all together and working in parallel on all those disciplines and feeding back into each other, we think we show that we've made great advances to the taxonomy. So basically incorporating all the disciplines into the decision process makes taxonomy much more robust, but also provides the basis for many other studies, such as those on the sweet potato I have been talking about. So yeah, the result is this monograph we produced in 6 years, and it was published 2 months ago. And also, as Gila was saying, in the bottom you can see the address of a website. On that website, we are making available little by little all the data we have for the genus. We're also making it available in other repositories, GenBank, GBIF, all of that, but also here as a meeting point for all things hypomia. If you go into there today, it's going my year refurbishment. It will be back live on Monday. So yeah, that website aims to be also a contact point for this project. And yeah, about this project and the study of any group of organisms requires to look at a lot of material. And in these days, well, even in these days, it's impossible. If we think of hypomia being worldwide distributed, it's impossible to study it on site everywhere. There's no way we could do that on a lifetime, even less in 6 years, and even less if we have to stay at home with the lockdown. So in this situation, herbaria and natural history collections become extremely important. So what you see here is a map of the specimens that we have sequenced for this project. We have sequenced now over 2,000 specimens, some of them for DNA barcodes, some of them for the whole genomes. And as you can see, these points indicate the places where these specimens were collected. There is no way we could visit those places ourselves in a short time. So herbaria become a real resource, and that's why in our project, herbaria are the main and the main source of information. We visited many herbaria. We've also received many specimens on loan and made use of virtual herbaria as well, which are also an incredible resource. Virtual herbaria and resources such as the Biodiversity Heritage Library mentioned before, they make our lives much easier as taxonomists, and as a result, everyone else's life probably easier as well. So those resources now available, and the cutting edge molecular techniques as well, together with the more classical but still very useful and necessary morphological studies. I think combining them all together makes a very powerful approach for any study of world's biodiversity. So yeah, so basically, I just wanted to leave it there. That's the work we have been doing. I'm very happy because we have been working very hard. Not just me, of course. I hope this makes other people happy as well, all those I work with that are incredible. And yeah, thank you all again.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, Pablo, for this exciting multi-approach work, and certainly for underlying the need to share data, to share knowledge throughout the communities. Thanks a lot for sharing, and of course, congratulations from all of us. I think we need to close this event by now. Of course, I need to thank first of all the colleagues, friends that are joining us in this remote event. As Leif was mentioning first, we didn't envisage such an event, but well, it has been like this. Thanks, of course, to the CETAF Executive Committee, to the Evaluation Committee, to the CETAF entire large community of members for promoting, for first developing and then promoting this E-ScoRe Award. Thanks to the Secretariat team, and especially Celine, that has made this event possible and run so smoothly. Of course, thanks to our three guests that for your contributions, your valuable contributions, and your permanent support. Thanks to all our community, and of course, to the 26 applicants that submitted their work to this award. And I would like to close this event by addressing those young researchers to encourage you, investigators in your early career stages, to participate in the second edition, because we need your innovative ideas. We need your multidisciplinary approach, your motivation, your enthusiasm. You are essential for the progress of science and also for the progress of our society at large. So we really will hope to see you all for the second edition of the CETAF E-ScoRe Award, and we will have the time to celebrate again this event all together. Welcome to the new participants in this big family, this exciting community of natural science collections. Pablo and all your colleagues and friends, and please, young researchers, come and contribute to create and enlarge this big family with new members. Thanks to you all, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Pablo.
Congratulations,
Thank you,
Pablo.
everyone. Thank you. Much appreciated.
And once again, congratulations, Pablo.
Thank you.
Congratulations, certainly. We keep in touch.
Yeah.
Keep up the
you
spirit
all.
and the good work. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you everyone for coming.
Bye.